this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
With no fees or minimums on checking accounts, it's no wonder that Capital One Bank Guy is so passionate about banking with Capital One. If he were here, he wouldn't just tell you about no fees or minimums. He'd also tell you about how Capital One cafes are open 7 days a week to assist with your banking needs. Yep, even on weekends. It's pretty much all he talks about, in a good way. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bankguy. Capital One N.A., member FDIC. Hey there, and welcome to The Short Stuff. I'm Josh, and there's Chuck, and there's Jerry. Let's get to it. Why do lawyers wear wigs in Britain? Go.
You know what's funny is when I was researching this, it's really funny to me to look at modern pictures of these, and I don't want to make fun of it, but it is funny in 2019 to look at photos of barristers and judges wearing powdered wigs. Just let me say that out loud.
Did you just say that out loud?
Like you see them outside, there's pictures of smoking a cigarette on their smartphone.
Right.
Wearing these wigs.
Right, playing
Pretty
Candy
great.
Crush. Before we get started, though, Chuck, I want to differentiate between a barrister and a solicitor, which I did not know until today, actually.
Oh, yeah?
The difference. Yeah. I thought maybe one was like a defense attorney and one was a prosecutor like we have here in the U.S., that's not the case. A solicitor is like the lawyer that you go meet with outside of court and maybe advises you on family and children matters or bankruptcy or divorce or something like that. And then they might negotiate contracts, that kind of thing. But then when you're in court, you're represented by a barrister, and the barrister works with the solicitor to understand your case, but it's the barrister who's petitioning the court on your behalf. So they're both working like for the people. They're not prosecuting somebody, but that's the difference. One of the other differences, at least one of the most obvious and apparent differences between a barrister and a solicitor, is that you don't see solicitors wearing wigs. You do see barristers wearing wigs.
So that's a short stuff within a short stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between barristers and solicitors, everybody.
Mm-hmm. That's just an SS. It's so short.
So to the wigs, there are a lot of reasons. They're called perukes that over the years, and we'll get to the whole fashion of the wigs in a minute too, but there are several reasons why they wore them to begin with and why they still might wear them in certain cases. Mm-hmm. One of the main reasons is to give it a more formal proceeding, a more solemn proceeding. Another big reason is it's a safeguard, almost like, and I've seen the word disguise used. It's a very bad disguise because it's just the wig.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't noticed that.
But in criminal court, it supposedly lends to anonymity, these robes and wigs. So where if this criminal sees their attorney on the street 6 months later, they might be like, I don't even recognize the guy. He looks familiar, but if only he had a powdered wig on, right, I might be able to knife him in the tube.
Can't quite place him.
So that is sort of what they represent. And they have been a part of the court system over there, not forever, but since what year?
Since 1685, at least.
Yeah, previous to that, they didn't use these wigs, which is interesting.
It is interesting because at the time, wigs were already all the rage in Europe and had been for a few years. But I guess the court system was like, no, we're going to not take part in this ridiculous fashion trend. And I guess just portraits from the early 1680s even just showed like people without wigs on. And then all of a sudden, bam, wigs start showing up in the portraits, and they've been there ever since, even long after wigs fell out of fashion. I mean, wigs were only fashionable for, less than 100 years. Actually, far less than 100 years. No, about 100 years, let's say. and then they were gone, and the British court system, wherever it popped up around the world, hung on to these wigs for, another like 200, 300 years.
Yeah, and they're, as far as the wigs themselves, you can get a little bit of variety, but it's not like you can walk in there with your rainbow afro wig.
John 3:16.
They're generally similar. Barristers have it's a little frizzed at the top. They have the horizontal curls on the side and the back, and in the very, very back, the mullet section, you have these two long strips below the hairline with a little looped curl. The judges themselves have the much more ornate wigs that's more full.
Very long.
Yeah, super long. These are the one, that's how you can tell the difference. When you see the dude with the big, huge, full, long wig, that's a judge. When you see the little one sitting on top, standing outside the courthouse with your smartphone and your cigarette, that's a barrister.
And the judge's wig looks very, very much like a 70s rocker hairdo if you step back and look at it.
Yeah.
Like, really.
I'm trying to think of who.
Like maybe like a tour manager for Led Zeppelin or something like that.
All right, maybe. Although he famously did not have long hair, but sure.
Who? Phil Graham?
He was bald on top. Was that his name?
He was the promoter.
Oh, okay.
Phil Graham was.
All right.
Man, he used to stick people up. He would say, like, if you don't give us an extra $100,000, my boys aren't going on stage like 5 minutes before they were supposed to go on stage.
He was pretty legendary.
Piece of work.
So as far as the wigs, though, they're expensive. Judges can throw down about $3,000 on a wig. The barristers may spend anywhere from $500 to $1,000.
These are dollars, not pounds.
Yeah. And they're made of horsehair. Traditionally have always been made of horsehair if you can afford it, just because of tradition. It's not like horsehair is some super valuable thing, but some have been made through other things like goat's hair or just cotton or maybe a dead human.
Or even a live human.
Sure.
At the time, back in the day, humans would donate their long white hair, kind of like locks of love, but rather than, for people who have survived cancer, it's for the courts.
Locks of law.
And rather than for love, it's for money. So it doesn't really bear that much of a resemblance, although hair was involved. But the horse hair, it's like you said, it's not prize, it's just tradition. That's what they were made out of originally, and that's what they continue to be made out of. But that's not to say they're just like thrown together. These are remarkably well made, or they're supposed to be. For a very long time, they were very well made, artisan crafted wigs.
All right, let's take a break. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about the history of these wigs and why on earth they're still wearing them right after this.
Stuff you should know. Hey everybody, we're here to talk to you about Wayfair, who believes that spaces should be functional, they should be comfortable, they should be well designed, and they can be well designed by you with their help.
Your updated space should feel more comfortable, inviting, and practical for everyday use. And we're talking about outdoor seating. We're talking about grills. We're talking about major appliances. If you need storage solutions, Wayfair can help you out. Patio lighting, rugs, decor. It is your one-stop shop for home.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting nice out, so it's time to think about living outdoors for the next few months. And Wayfair knows that outdoor furniture, it's heavy, it's intimidating to assemble. So Wayfair has stepped in and said, we're going to handle the hard part so you don't have to.
That's right. You can shop Wayfair Verified, your shortcut to the good stuff. And that means their team of product specialists are going to vet everything by hand using a 10-point inspection, testing things like, quality materials, functionality, and features, and even how long it takes to build that piece of furniture. And the overall experience save time, reduce hassle, and improved convenience.
Patio season is here, and these deals won't last. So head to wayfair.com right now to get your outdoor space ready for way less. That's WAYFAIR.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Hey everybody, we want to talk to you about The Big Bang Theory. That's a show that became one of the most defining sitcom of its era and really built a fan base around its memorable characters and unique group dynamic.
That's right, which is why we think you'll enjoy the official Big Bang Theory podcast. It's back, covering seasons 3 and 4 of the show. Host Jessica Radloff sits down with crew and cast members like Kunal Nair, who plays Raj, Mayim Bialik, who plays Amy, and Kevin Sussman, who plays Stuart.
That's right. You're going to learn all about the Easter eggs you may have missed, behind-the-scenes stories, and how certain real-life relationships shaped some of the most memorable storylines.
Yeah, there's cast reflections years after the series aired and expanded content around famous episodes and storylines. It is exactly what you're looking for if you're a fan of The Big Bang Theory. The season is on video, so watch the official Big Bang Theory podcast on HBO Max, or listen wherever you get your podcasts, and stream episodes of The Big Bang Theory on HBO Max. Stuff you should know.
All right, so the history of wigs here, it may surprise you to know that a big reason these wigs started to be worn is because syphilis was rampant.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody had syphilis.
Yeah.
And one of the things that can happen when you have syphilis, aside from blindness and rashes and dementia and open sores, is you can lose your hair. So what it maybe unfairly, because male pattern baldness is a thing anyway, if you lost your hair and you were a prominent person, a lot of people probably looked at you and said, oh, well, he got syphilis.
Yeah, plus at the time, long hair on men was very much in fashion.
Sure.
And that does not go well with syphilis if you're balding. So wigs came into play, and they might not have come into play as strongly as they did had it not been for Louis XIV, the King of France, the Sun King, who they believe had syphilis. And he started wearing wigs himself. He reigned from 1643 to 1715, and he was a huge trendsetter. So when he started wearing these powdered wigs, everybody started wearing powdered wigs, and not just in France and not just among his court, but in courts and the aristocracy and the upper classes of all of Europe, including in England, which was reigned by Charles II at the time, who was the cousin of Louis XIV.
And also maybe had syphilis.
Yeah, syphilis everywhere. You get syphilis. You get syphilis. You get syphilis.
And like you said, it spread through all of aristocracy. Finally, it fell out of fashion over time. That, like you said, didn't
syphilis.
Well, yeah, didn't take that long for the wigs to fall out of fashion. Would you say less than 100 years?
Yeah, by the time King George III, who was presiding over England during the American Revolution, when he was in charge, it was really just basically coachmen, bishops, and I believe the court. And in the 1830s, the church, or the Anglican church, said bishops don't need to wear those anymore. I don't know when coachmen stopped wearing them, but then...
You're probably like, we're with the bishops.
Right. Then the courts were, they just kept it up from that point on.
Yeah, so finally in 2007, there was a court challenge, an actual suit brought forward to say, can we not wear these wigs anymore? And there was a ruling that said that technically did away with barrister wigs, but not entirely, because that was only in civil court or appearing before the Supreme Court. Right. But in criminal cases, they were like, keep those wigs on, everybody.
And I believe they still do, right?
Yeah, that's what I couldn't quite figure out. I read, in this article, it says until 2011 when the practice was discontinued.
Well, that was with judges.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes more sense now.
Barristers in 2007, judges in 2011, but I believe that in criminal cases, both barristers and judges are still required to wear wigs, or else it's a real affront to the decorum of the court.
Yeah, I was reading articles from last year that talked about the fact that they were still trying to get it not mandatory for criminal cases, but I think they are still wearing them. And
it had a sweeping effect. Everyone around the world that had that worked in the legal system of a country that was a former British colony, whether in Africa, whether Australia, whether Canada, were just waiting. Actually, I think Canada did away with them before, but it's like they were just waiting to pull these wigs off. Jamaica got rid of theirs in 2013. Australia got rid of theirs finally in 2010. So whatever lawsuit that was in 2007, that had literally global effects.
Yeah, one of the articles I read talked about in England the heat. They're like in the summertime.
God, the heat.
Yeah, in the summertime, these robes and these wigs, they were like, it's just it's a problem, and they should just file a petition or whatever that just says, to whom it may concern, come on, this is ridiculous. It's 2019. The end.
Right. Yeah.
We look silly.
Yeah. Although in Hong Kong, they are still with it 100% from
That's
what
true.
I understand.
Yeah.
So if you want to go see your lawyers and your judges wearing traditional wigs, go to Hong Kong. I think that's the upshot of this short stuff.
Yeah, go commit a crime in Hong Kong.
There you go. Thanks a lot for joining us. If you want to get in touch with us, shoot us an email, why don't you? Send it off to stuffpodcast@howstuffworks.com.